Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session on Python programming. Ma'am, I have given you the rights.
Sakshi, give me a minute. I will. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Before I start, input output functions. Okay, output function we have already seen many times from since the first session. Okay, so how do I output the content? Okay, whatever output that my program is generating, how do I output it to the screen? Okay, to the user. So it Python basically uses print statement to display the output. Okay, so till that this particular point we have not used any or we have not taken any input from the user, right? So how do I take input from the user? We have worked on the suppose I just wanted to add two numbers, then I initialized myself in two different variables. I initialized two numbers like a equals to 1, b equal to 2, and later on using the sum function, that is a plus b, I have saved the output of a plus b in some intermediate variable as c. Okay, and later on I printed the output. But what if every time I run the program and I want to get different result? Okay, different inputs. So I can take the input from the user using this function. Okay, the function that I highlighted here. Input is the function with which I can get the input from the user. Okay, here just input, and inside this I have passed some string. Okay, so whenever we pass some string, you can note here when I executed this, it is asking, it is displaying this message, whatever we have printed inside this particular, or whatever we have entered in this particular function, input function, correct? So here we have asked enter your name, so that is what it has printed. It is just for the user readability. If you wish to skip this part, I mean to say simply use input function without any arguments, that is also fine. Okay, it improves the readability, so pass some string inside the input. Fine. So whatever input function, whatever input that user inputs, okay, that will be the input function will return that particular input to the variable, right? That means what type of input it will generate, right? Suppose input function will do, suppose here I have entered enter your name, so I will enter my name. Okay, so in this particular case I will enter the enter key. Okay, so what happens when we press enter key? So the text that I have entered, Padmavati, so here it is typing mistake. So the text that I have entered inside this particular text field will be saved inside this particular name, or else we can say name is referring to the string Padmavati, right? So here input, what it is returning, input returns the input in the form of string. Okay, whatever input we give inside the text field, that input is in the form of string. Okay, so here whatever I just wanted to know what was the user input, so I just printed the name. So here it has displayed whatever we have entered as a user, right? So let us move to the next cell. In the next cell, what we have done, I just said that input returns in the form of string. Okay, so here I just wanted to check the type of the input whatever it has passed. Okay, that is using this particular name reference I am checking. So type of name is, it is returning as string, str, correct? So in the next cell I have executed already. When we execute this, enter your age. Enter your age. So here I can write as 23. When I enter this, first it prints whatever we have entered. Okay, that is age, and later on I am just checking the type of age. Okay, so this time when I press when I enter 23 in the text field, so 23 will be printed, and you can note here this age. Okay, when I print the type of age, when I wanted to know type of age is str. Okay, so hence you all must understand what this input is doing. Input is simply taking the input from the user, whatever input, either we are passing some words, that is alphabets, or else some digits. Okay, whatever input that user is entering, that particular input is returned to the reference. Okay, okay, so I will continue then. So input is in the form of string. Okay, so what if I want to actually process this particular age in further like program? So this particular age of string form need to be converted to integer form. Okay, so again use some methods like int function is used to convert. It takes the string and it returns the it converts string to integer type. Okay, so you can change here. After taking the input, you can write down age is equals to int of input, enter age, then that will be, the string will be converted to numeric type, and then it will be saved in age. Okay, that you can try. So like this we can take the input from the user and work on along, right? So let us consider the list. Again, we were discussing the different or various data types that exist in Python programming language. So list is one of the most widely used type in Python. Okay, why it is most widely used type? Because it has many features. Okay, many functions. So for that sake, most of the programmers, they do prefer to use list. Okay, and let us see how do we create the list and what are the various functionalities that exist inside the list. Okay, so with starting with the definition of list, a list is a sequence of either homogeneous or heterogeneous values. That means a list is nothing but a sequence, and in that particular sequence we can have few elements, all the elements in the form of same type, or we can have a sequence where all the elements inside that particular sequence may or may not be similar type. That means some elements may be integer type, some elements may be string type, some element may be complex type, and so on. Okay, so for that sake, it is, I said, it is homogeneous or heterogeneous values can be saved inside the list. Fine. So each individual value inside this particular list, we say it as an item or element. Okay, so list, if how do I create a list? A list can be created with these square brackets. Okay, and very important property that one must understand, a list is mutable type. Okay, we have already understood the difference between mutable and immutable, and we have seen many immutable type of examples. Let us discuss some of the example which belong to mutable type. List is a mutable type. We will discuss with some example what we mean by this mutable. Okay, so initially we have created one list one, with with homogeneous elements. I mean here that list 1 of 0, list 1 of 1, and list 1 of 2. All three elements are of integer type. Okay, so for that sake we call it as an homogeneous list. Okay, so list 2, inside list 2, again list 2 has three elements. List 2 of 0 is John, list 2 of 1 is 23, list 2 of 2 is 90K. Okay, here the first element is element of the list 2 is string type. The second element is integer type, whereas the third element is of again string type. Okay, this cell is just illustrating that I can create the list of homogeneous values, or I can create a list of heterogeneous values. This is an example which belongs to, which shows homogeneous example. Homogeneous is nothing but all elements of inside this particular list are of same type, whereas heterogeneous means elements inside the list may not be same type. Okay, that is nothing but the heterogeneous values. Next one. Okay, what we have inside this list 1 of 2. That means I just wanted to what are we trying to access? We are trying to access second element of list 1. That means I always say in list also indexing start with 0. So list 1 of 0 is 100, list 1 of 1 is 200, list 1 of 2 is 300. Okay, so which element I am trying to access here? I am trying to point list 1 of 2, that is this. Okay, here list 1 of 2 is equals to 400. So this particular value I just want to reassign. So when I try to do it, and when we just display the list 1, so what is the result? Um, the result here is 100, 200, and 400. Earlier to this particular operation, earlier to this, we were having list 1 with 100, 200, and 300 elements inside list 1. Whereas when I change list, when I change list 1 of 2 is equals to 400, you can notice here 300 has been replaced with the value 400. Okay, so this example itself shows that list is mutable type, right? Inside the same list, I'm able to change the element value. Okay. Now, here referencing, we have done the forward referencing. Let us try to see whether we are able to do backward referencing. Okay, list 1 of -1. Okay, here list 1 of -1. Here I mean to say I want to access the last element. Okay, negative indices always indicate from the or traverse from the last end or end of the list. Okay, from the end of the list, whereas positive indices always indicate that you need to traverse from the first element. Here list 1 of -1, it will indicate sorry, here it has changed, right? List 1 of 1, here it will point to 400. Okay, so it should simply retrieve the element as 400, right? In the next cell, I just tried to execute list 1 of 4. Okay, so I said whenever we give positive index values, I always traverse from the first element. Okay, so let us try to get where this list 1 of 4, what it will retrieve. It list 1 is this particular list 1 of 0, list 1 of 1, list 1 of 2. Okay, there is no third and fourth element that exists inside the list 1. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to extract the element which does not exist. Okay, so in that particular case, definitely you all might be knowing it should generate the error as indexing error. Okay, list index out of range. So for that sake, this, if we are trying to access the element which has not been created, so it generates the error named as index error, right? So in the next cell, we are trying to check the in operator. Okay, so what this in operator does, what this in operator does, this in operator checks whether this particular element exists inside this particular list 1 or not. So we know that list 1 comprises of only 3 elements, 100, 200, 400, and 100 exists inside the list 1, so it should result the value as true. Okay, it should result the value as true, right? Right. So in the next cell, we have demonstrated a few operation. For example, in the first case, we will see how do we concatenate two different lists. Okay. In the next one, how do I repeat the elements of the list? Okay. So let us try to understand how do we create concatenation and how do we repeat the elements of the list. So here we do have created list 3, which has 3 different elements, 50, 40, and 30. We do have one more list as list 4, and it has 2 elements, 20 and 10, right? So in the next line, I'm forming list 5, and I've used this concatenation operation, that is plus. Okay, so what it should do, it should take 2 lists, list 3 and list 4. It simply concatenates to these 2 lists. So resultant of this particular list should be 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. Okay, so here is the output of concatenation operation. Correct. Next, let us see the repeat. Okay, so repeat operator is this multiplication, that is star, and whenever I write name of the list, whenever we provide name of the list as list 5, here I've provided list 5 and this particular repeat operator, and later on I'm providing some integer value as 2 here, right? So what it should do is it should see the elements of list 5. Elements of list 5 has 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. Okay, so what it should do, it should have 50, it should simply repeat the elements of list twice. Okay, that means 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and later on in continuously it repeats the same list 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. Okay, let me execute this. I might have tried with some other examples. So as you can see here, list 5 has simply repeated twice. Correct? 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10, and then 50, 40, 30, 20 and 10. Suppose list 5, instead of this concatenation operation, if I provide 10, okay, and instead of repeating 2 times, let me repeat 10 times. So it simply provides this particular list 5 will be repeated 10 times. Okay, so you can see here content of the list 5. When you repeat 10 times, this is the resultant list that it will generate. Like this, we can repeat already existing list. Okay, so we can even apply slice operation on the list. Okay, so when we, how do we apply slice operation? We have seen this with respect to strings. We have seen this functionality with respect to tuple, as well as we can perform this with respect to list 5 lists, right? So here list 5. So what I'm trying to access, I'm trying to access elements from second index up to 5 minus 4, that is fourth index. Here let me change this. Let me add some other values so that it will be easier for us to visualize. Otherwise all elements are same right now. Like this, I have 10 different elements. Let me skip this. Okay, so you can see here element which has started with second index. Okay, 3 second index, third index and fourth index. These 3 will be printed. Okay, so what is the result when we perform this? This we have already seen. So this indicates that it should list all the elements starting with fourth. Okay, fourth index to end of the list. Okay, when I perform this, I know this is the element at fourth index, so it should move up to this. Okay, that means it should consider from fourth element, it should consider rest of the elements. So for that sake, it has displayed all elements. Correct? So okay, next one is in this, what are we trying to do? We are trying to again perform some kind of slicing operation, but this time what are we trying to do? We are taking some sub list of the list 5. Okay, which elements we are considering? We are considering 0th and first element. Okay, what I'm trying to do, I am trying to replace with some values. Okay, how it would be changed? List 5 of 0 will be assigned with minus 50 and list 5 of 1 will be assigned with minus 40. So when you display this list 5, okay, so it should have first 2 element as minus 50, minus 40, rest of the elements will remain same. We can see here, initially there were elements like 1 to 10, correct? So now what it is displaying elements. We have just updated the list with this slice operation, right? List 5 of 0, we have saved the value as minus 50. List 5 of 1, we have saved the value with minus 40. Okay, rest of the elements will remain same. Okay, this operation would not be possible with tuple or string because both of them, they were immutable type. This is what we have already discussed, right? Let us see some more methods. Okay, so one of the method is append method. Fine. List 5 dot append 60. That means what append should do? Append should actually add the element at the end of the list. Okay, which element it will add? The element that we are passing inside this particular function. So 60 would be appended to this particular list. See, list 5 was this, and it has simply appended the element 60 is appended at the end of the list. Correct? Let us move to the next function, that is extend. Here, extend, what it does, it extends the list by adding or by adding list of elements. Okay, so what it will do is, in here append function was we were able to append some value at the end of the list. That some value is only one value we were appending at the end of the list. Here extend means we are able to, if I want to append more than one element, then I will be using extend function. Okay, extend also appends the elements, but not one, it can have multiple. Okay, depending on my requirement. Suppose in this example, I wanted to append 3 different values. Okay, so I will use extend function and these values are passed inside as a list. Okay, so when I execute this, the whole list, this is the earlier list, and this particular list will be appended with 3 more values, 70, 80 and 90. See, correct? Okay, let us move to the next part, that is next function, that is pop. Here, pop function, what it exactly does, it simply removes the element and it returns which element has been removed. Okay, suppose list 5 dot pop of 2. So here I just wanted to remove the element which is placed at second position. Okay, here I am providing in with pop, I am providing the index value. Okay, I just, this is my list 5 and I just wanted to remove the element which is saved at index 2. Zeroth element is this, first is this, and this is second. So what pop function will do, it removes the element which is indicated inside this particular index. Okay, it removes the element and later on it returns which element has been removed. It returns that particular value as well, right? So let us take one more example. If I want to remove, if I don't provide any value for this particular function, here I have provided the index, right? Here I specified that I want to remove the second value. Okay, value that is placed at second position. Here I have given the indexing. Okay, I just wanted to remove this 3, so I just placed here as 2. So if I don't provide any value, okay, any indexing, then what happens? Here it simply removes the topmost element. Topmost element is this 90. Okay, so this is the difference when you provide the index. So that particular value will be removed. If you don't provide the index value, it simply removes the topmost element of the list. Okay, this will be removed. If you apply one more function, list 5 dot pop, if you apply one more time the pop function, then again this is the result. Okay, let us display the function first. correct? This is the updated list. Now try to remove. Okay. When I apply the pop function on this particular list, again topmost element will be removed and that element will also be returned. Okay, here let me correct this. It should be list 5. Check here, right? Topmost element has been removed and that particular value is returned after this particular pop function. If you remove once again, okay, again 70 will be removed, 60 will be removed. Like this, you can remove all the elements from the list. So let me display the updated list. Here is the updated list after performing 2 different pop functions, right? Okay. Let us move to the next one, that is delete. Okay, so here delete. I want to delete element which is specified with some index. Okay, so you can use the keyword that is del. Okay, del, specify the list from which list you want to remove the element and also specify the index. Okay, so element which is placed at 0th position will be removed, and when you print the updated list, you can note here -50 is removed from the list, right? Next, we can have some more. We do have some more inbuilt functions. You can try all these inbuilt functions, rest of the inbuilt functions like min, sum. Okay. So in this case, what happens? Suppose if we have a list 5. So max of list 5, what it will return? It simply returns the maximum element of this particular list. Okay. When I execute this, so what it will return? It returns maximum element. Okay. That is 70. Correct. Next one. In the next cell, what we have, I just created the list 6, named list 6 with 5 different elements, 1 to 5. I think we have already explained what this in is. One of you type the output of this particular operation. In your chat box, you can type the output of this cell. Okay, fine. Please stop. Here, yes, definitely the output is, it is checking whether 1 exists inside this particular list 6 or not. So it should generate the output as true, as 1 already exists inside this particular list. Okay, now generate the, what should be the output of this cell? The highlighted one. Highlighted one. Okay. Yes, it should simply append 6 to this particular list, right? Okay, fine. In the next cell, what I've done, you just check. Okay, now what you do is you just explain, or you just write content of list 9. When I display content of list 9, what should be the, okay, check this carefully. Yes, yes, it should be negative values are there inside the list. Hence, it should be -10, -20, -30, -14, -15 should be printed. list 8 will remain same. Okay, we have taken this list 8 as first list, and I have added two, I have concatenated two lists. Okay, the left side of this concatenation operation I have taken list 8, the right side is minus 40 and minus 50. Hence, this is the resultant of list 9, that is concatenation operation. Fine. Okay, just guess this. What should be the output of this cell? There are two print statements. Let me highlight the cell so that it would be visible to you people. Okay, fine. Try. Okay, one of you give the correct answer as true and false. Why true and false? Let me execute and show you, and later on you give the explanation in the window. Why true and false? Okay, agreed. True and false is correct, but why true and false? You can send me in a chat box. No, that should not be the answer. I will give 2 more minutes to answer. Okay, yes, correct. Correct, very much correct. So here, the first one is here a equals to 20. A and B here are integer type, correct? A and B are referring to integer data object, whereas C and D are referring to list type, right? So here we know here integers are immutable type. Okay, and in the first session I have explained, or maybe in the second section I might have explained that when we create 20, some data object is created at 20 with value 20 at some memory location. Okay, and A will refer to that particular memory location. Okay, and whenever we try to use B, whenever I try to write B is equals to 20, what happens? And in that case, B will also be using or B will also be referring to the same memory location wherever this 20 got created. Okay, like this we say Python is memory efficient. Okay, and in only one place 20 is saved, but different variables may refer to the same memory location. And A is B, as both A and B are referring to the same memory location, so it gave the output as true. Okay, whereas in this particular case, C is 10 and D is equals to 10. That means C and D are uh, this 10 this 10 has been created at some memory location X. This 10 has been created at some other memory location Y. Okay, and for that sake, whenever I write print C is D, so it should result as false because it is of mutable type. Okay, so okay, fine. Try this cell. Let me highlight this cell. Okay, what would be the result? Can you type and let me know? Do type. Yes. It is minus 100. One of you have typed as 100. It is minus 100. You can note here. Okay. So it may not be clearly visible. So let me highlight again. So here list 10 has been created at some memory location. And whenever I do this list 10, 11 is equals to list 10. So both 11 and 10 will be pointing to the same memory location. Okay. Wherever this list has been created. So, and I said list is mutable type. That means it is, we can change the values in place. In the same place, we can change, right? So which particular value I'm trying to reassign list 10 of 3 at this particular position, okay? Third index, I'm trying to change the value from 40 to minus 100. Okay, so when you try to print list content of list 11 and 10, so it should change and it should print as you have explained. Most of you have explained 10, 20, 30. 40 is simply replaced with minus 100. Okay. Okay, try this. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is int. You can consider address as 1000 in, okay, it's up to you. You can imagine any address. Okay. Same location, same ID reference, no. Different location, yes. Up to this, up to this point, up to this point. Okay, let me get your input from. Okay, let me copy from this. Now, let me highlight. I've just simply modified something. Okay. Yes, correct. So initially, when I write a is equals to 10, b equals to a. So when I try to print address of b and then value of b, address of a and memory location of a and value of a. So what it will do, it it does it should give the output as the addresses as same, because till this time what I've done, I've created simply 10 at memory location at x memory location, and I'm taking the alias of that particular for a. Okay, I'm creating b is nothing but b is different name for the same memory location. That means I can access 10. I can access 10 either with the help of a or with the help of b. Okay. So after this particular statement, if I want to refer 10, either you simply say a or b, that means the same. Okay. So for that sake, id of b, id of a, as both a and b are referring to the same memory location, so it will return the same address. Whereas value of b and a will also, till this particular point, will also remain same because 10 is saved inside a. But once you say, once you re-refer the value, a is equal, reassign the value 100 to A. So again 100 will get created at some other memory location. A would be referring to 100 now, whereas B will be referring to this 10. Correct? And when you create or when you try to print address of B will remain same as previously displayed. Address of A would be changing because 100 would be creating at this particular at some memory location at this stage. Okay, so value of B and address of B will remain same as previous case, but value of A and address of A would be changing. Correct? This is B, value of B, value of A, address of B, address of A. This is again address of B and value of A. This is the next last statement is address of where A is saved, value of A is saved, and here is value of A. Okay. So most of you have understood this concept. Okay. So let me stop here. If you have any queries, you may ask.
Hello, ma'am.
Take one small assignment. Okay, this would be your assignment. You can use built-in functions. You can use built-in functions to create stack. Okay, again, you all be knowing what is stack. It is first in, first out operation. Fine. It's last in, first out. Sorry. Okay. Last in, first out means last value that you are inputting to the list would be deleted first. Fine. Fine. You may ask now queries.
Ma'am, can you tell us how we can add integer and float values to the using input function?
Okay. Let us create A equals to input. Okay. So you all know by this time. Let me add 10. You all know when I check type of A, it should return, it is str this time. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to convert this. Okay. So what I will be doing is I will be using int. I will be using int function. What int function will do? Whatever string that this particular input function is returning, that would be converted to int type. And cross check it this time. So it is changed to integer type. Similarly, you can use float to convert from string to float type. You can try it out by yourself. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, there are two tuples. One tuple contains 5 elements and another tuple contains 4 elements. Can I compare these elements to each other?
Comparison is nothing but comparison is how you want to compare. You can always compare, but how you want to, which operator you want to use for comparison. For comparison, no need of taking any, there is no, as such, there is no rule that both tuples should have same elements. right? So you can always
Okay.
compare elements of different type, different size. That is not an issue.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, I just
Yes.
wanted to ask but that why we haven't used append 2 times instead of extend. Ma'am, it is mentioned 48 and 49, ma'am, even when they mean the same.
Yeah, you can always use append function is nothing but it appends single element at a time, whereas extend is it is accepting the list of elements, and it will append those elements at the end of the list. Okay. So only difference here append and extend is append element wise it will add. Whereas if I want to add more elements, if I want to append more elements, then you better go for extend function.
Ma'am, like if I want to add 2 to 3 or 5 elements, I will be using extend.
More than one, better you use extend.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
Ma'am, list in the Python is same as an array in other languages, or there's a difference between both?
Can you repeat?
Ma'am, the list function in the Python is same as the array function, or there is difference between the both lists?
The difference, okay, the difference here is exist in the definition. The first statement that I have explained in today's class regarding list, the difference between list and array is array, you all know it should have homogeneous element. All the elements are of same type. Whereas list, we are having flexibility with us. We can have same type or elements can be of different types. That is the first and foremost difference between creating list and arrays.
Good evening, ma'am. I have one doubt. Ma'am, in list, both Pop and Del are maintaining the both same function, right?
Both and, sorry, pop and?
Pop and Del.
Yeah.
Delete.
Yes, yes. They are performing same functionality. Only difference is pop will always return the value which it has returned, which it has removed. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Del will show the new list.
Yeah, yeah. You can also explore by yourself. I have not covered intentionally. You can explore one more function, that is remove. Okay.
Okay,
And
ma'am.
you try to remove some of the elements and with the help of remove function, and try to get the difference between pop, del and remove.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Once again, explain difference between append or extend.
Okay. The only difference here is append means you all know.
Yes, ma'am.
It simply appends the element at the end of the list. Okay. For example, my list has these elements. When I apply append function, what it will do? Append of 2. Okay. When I apply append of 2 function on the list, or 20, let us say 20, then my list will change to whatever list is there, that list dot append function. If I apply, then you can use 1, 2, 3 and 20 will be appended. If you use extend here, it also performs the appending. Only difference is in this I'm giving only one element to append at the end of the list. Okay, here in this I need to provide the list of elements that I want to append. For example, 30, 40, 50 and so on. So what would be the result? Suppose this is the list that I'm inputting for the extend, then what should be the result? 1, 2, 3, 20 was initial content. Okay, and after applying extend this, you all know it should be 20, 40, 50. Even 30 will also be.
30 also, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm doing it. So this is the resulted
Ma'am,
list.
Okay.
Yes.
ma'am,
Ma'am,
Yes.
basically it
Ma'am,
increases
with the use of append, we can add list also. Like one list is like 1, 2, 3 elements are containing. We can append a list, that list in another one list. So this is the benefit of append.
Even in extend also you are able to add the
Ma'am,
elements,
No,
right?
ma'am.
no, ma'am.
Extend can only add
Increase
elements,
the
but
size, ma'am.
append will add in a list, another list in a first list in another list. Ma'am, its mean is like in a first list we can add another list one also.
Okay.
You can
Basically,
check
see, the main advantage of using append function is just to append the value at the end of the list. Whereas
End of the
extend
list,
is you can add many elements at the end of the list.
yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, as you told to do the stack list, I have prepared the stack list.
Okay.
Ma'am, how do I share it? I just
I will give few more. Let me just wait for some time. I will be giving. Let me complete 2 more types, sets and
okay, sure, ma'am.
dictionary, and later on I will be giving few more assignments to complete. Okay, few more questions to complete, and later on you will be getting some link for uploading. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Sakshi, you may create one assignment maybe by next weekend, and we will give them some set of questions, maybe in the
Okay.
form of CQ or maybe in the form of some programs.
Okay.
Okay, any other doubt?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, for me, I just want to clarify this doubt. Like the difference between tuple and list, is it the parenthesis and the square bracket?
Okay. Okay. The difference here is lists are mutable, whereas tuple are immutable. This is the main difference between tuple and list. Okay.
So how about the use of yeah.
I am able to change the contents of list with the help of index operator. Okay, so once I create the list with these many elements inside the list, okay, if I want to change value of this, okay, I simply write list dot, okay, list of 3 equals to some other number. Okay, this is not possible in tuple. You will use tuple only when you don't want to change your data. Your data is fixed. During that time, you can use tuple. Otherwise, we do use list.
Okay, thank you.
And some functions like append, extend will not work for tuple. You can try.
Okay.
Okay. Sakshi,
Yes, ma'am.
I guess there are no doubts, so we can end up the session here.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank
See
you, ma'am.
For your attendance, I have pasted the attendance link twice in the chat window, and it will be shared in the chat window of your WebEx only. If you come up with reasons later that I was not able to log in or anything other than that, I won't share attendance link at that time. So it will be shared only in your WebEx only at this time only. So no queries will be entertained later regarding whether you are able to log in or not. I'll log the meeting after a certain time and you need to be there before that. And I hope that you all have submitted your attendance by